Pokemon, created by Game Freak, was originally released in 1996 in Japan and then in 1998 in North America. The game pushed past the limitations of technology to create one of the most complex turn-based video games to ever exist. Before I start this video, I want to point out that there are at least 7 generations to the Pokemon games. There are some games that have features that the other games don't. So for the most part, I'm going to be talking about the features that apply to the series as a whole. Just by the way, that means there's going to be a lot of stuff that's educational in this series that I'm not covering. So when it comes to Pokemon games, there are 2 major things that we're looking at for reasons why we think children should be playing these games. These 2 things would be the battle system and how the game teaches you how to play. The first thing we're going to be covering is the battle system. Before I start showing you everything you can learn from this system, I want to explain how it works so you can fully understand how this game impacts your decision-making skills. The game uses a system known as a turn-based system. Turn-based games give you actions to choose from. After you've chosen your desired action, the game will carry it out for you. You strategically choose your actions in order to reduce the opponent's HP to 0 before they can do it to you. Pokemon, however, takes the game a step further by adding elements of science. Each Pokemon is given a type that will give it strengths and weaknesses against other Pokemon. If you were to have a water-type Pokemon, you'd be strong against fire-type Pokemon, because water puts out fire. However, the water type would be weak against a grass-type Pokemon because plants absorb water. The strengths and weaknesses of the Pokemon are reflecting on how the elements react to each other in the real world. This by itself has great educational value. However, the science of the relationship between the elements is not the only thing we learn from the battle system. The reason Pokemon became popular to begin with was because of the fact that you had a variety of team members to choose from. This is very different from other turn-based games on the market. Here, we're just gonna push this. No. Well, I just gotta push this aside real quick. I promise we'll come right back to it. I just have to show you how Dragon Quest works real quick so you understand why Pokemon is so cool. Like, once you see that, you're just gonna get hit by a whole bottle of astoundment juice. It took me half an hour to do this bit, and I am not regretting it. In most turn-based games, you go through a story with some established end goal. Along the way, you run into new members that contribute to your party in a way only that character can. Based on the strengths, weaknesses, and abilities of the character, you have to adapt to use them effectively in battle. As soon as you can figure out what the party's member role is, you'll have a much easier time going through the game. Now, Pokemon takes this idea to a whole new level. Instead of being locked to 4 to 8 characters, you have hundreds to choose from. You're given the option as to which Pokemon you want to use in specific scenarios. This means, based on your scenario, you're going to use a Pokemon that strengths will get you through the next challenge. By giving us all these options, the game teaches us 2 things better than any other turn-based game on the market: adaptation and the importance of teamwork and team building. And yes, I'm aware that saying any other game on the market is a pretty bold statement, but I truly believe this. And it's a kid's game, like a kid's game. A game that some company made for children teaches these 2 lessons better than any other turn-based game on the market, in my opinion. We've already talked about adaptation, however, we didn't talk too much about teamwork. The game teaches us teamwork pretty early on. When you start the game, you choose a Pokemon. You're given the option between a fire, water, and grass type. Since it's your first Pokemon, you feel an instant connection between yourself and the Pokemon, and because of that, you start using it a lot. The problem comes when a Pokemon of the opposing type comes along. You have to be prepared to deal with that Pokemon by having another Pokemon that is strong against it. There's no way you're going to be able to go through the whole game with just one Pokemon. Not easily anyways. So the battle system alone teaches us science, adaptation, teamwork, and overall how to be efficient. And these are just a few of the lessons the game can teach us. I didn't even go into detail about the leveling system, the stats of the Pokemon, the rarity of some of the Pokemon, how the way they look can affect your choice, or the Pokemon that have more than one type. And I know that sounds very complex and scary and a little overwhelming, but you learn it as you go. The game teaches you in such a very good way in which it doesn't make it scary, and this actually brings us into the next thing we're going to be talking about. There are 2 significant ways the game teaches you how to play. Both ways are extremely beneficial and tell us a lot about the way we think. So the two ways the game teaches us how to play are by adventuring and experimenting. Adventuring and experimenting kind of go hand in hand. You go out of the way to explore the world and find various items, and then you play with it to figure out how to use it effectively. The game doesn't stop everything you're doing to teach you how every game mechanic works. Rather than stopping you or giving you a tutorial, the game places characters in every town that will give you information about how the game works. If you want to learn how to effectively play the game, you must make the choice to talk to these people. The game does not give you a tutorial or make you stop what you're doing to learn every small game mechanic. In fact, you could go through the whole game without picking up any of the items that are out of reach. You can walk by every side character in the game without it stopping you from reaching the end. But the moment you're stuck in an area because you don't understand how some of the mechanics work, you start to explore. You begin to look at all the opportunities the game gives you and use them to your advantage. The concept of adventuring and exploration teaches us how to be more independent. It shows our children how to acquire information when they don't completely understand something, and to know when to seek out help. It also helps them understand that there is more than one choice you can make in any given scenario, that you may not know every possible solution, that your first step may be to look for more options. That was my soda can. Alright, so this is the end of the video. There are way too many things we can learn from the Pokemon games, but I just wanted to put a general overview of what we can learn from the series. I might go into specific Pokemon games because I guarantee I can elaborate more in each specific game from the main series. That and Pokemon Let's Go is a new game and an amazing experience with a lot of different mechanics, and I really want to cover that one day. I'm basically saying bye Pokemon Let's Go because that is my favorite game on the Switch right now. Alright, if that's something you guys are interested in seeing, let me know, along with which game of the series you want me to cover first. Also, show this video to some of your Pokemon loving friends. It will give them something that they love, and it will support the channel. It's a win-win. Well, here's the clickable pictures that take you to other videos I've created. On the right is our playlist where we talk about the educational value of certain video games. That would be the best playlist on the channel at the time of this recording. Then, we have our most recent video on the left. We hope to see you around.